Hurley's going to give us a prayer.
Sure. Dear Lord, we thank you today for all your many blessings in our city. We're very thankful that in this turbulent time that we had no loss of life and no major destruction, and that we fared with your blessing and favor. We're thankful today for our dedicated employees who have put such an effort out to restore our community back to normal. We're thankful for all of our public safety who's been safe in keeping us out of harm's way. We ask that you bless this meeting and all things we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. God bless you. Dismissed.
All right, so first thing we need to do is I need a motion to approve our amended agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Roebuck?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurley?
Yes.
Commissioner Dennison?
Yes.
Mayor Bone?
Yes. All right, and just real quick, thank you everybody for all the work that you're doing out there. I think people in Leesburg are really impressed with that quick action and response that's been had, so thank you guys. All right, public hearings and non-routine items.
Open the public hearing.
Oh, open our public, okay, we have to open our public hearing on our proposed item 2A. This is our public hearing on a proposed millage and proposed budget for the fiscal year 2017 and 18.
So let me just give you a little staff report on this. We're going to ask you to continue this, so I think at this time we shouldn't go into these matters. As you know, we've gone through the hurricane. The governor issued an executive order to grant some liberty on the public hearings for the millage and budgets. Our situation was such that we canceled our September 11 meeting. On that, we had a non-ad valorem issue, which was our fire assessment, which under the governor's executive order, we rescheduled for September 25th. That was one problem we had with canceling the September 11 meeting. The second problem we had with canceling the September 11 meeting, which affected this meeting, was by policy, communities are required to adopt their CRA budgets prior to adopting their general fund budgets and their millage rates. We were scheduled to do that at our September 11 meeting. When we did that, we made a meeting for 5 o'clock, or we're hoping to make a meeting for 5 o'clock for our CRA budget so that we could adopt it prior to this meeting, but we weren't able to get, or the paper wasn't able to get, an advertisement for the rescheduling of the CRA budgets in time. So since that happened, we now need to postpone or continue this meeting. So we now have the proper advertisement out to adopt our CRA budget at 5 p.m. Remember, we have three, so we have 3 CRA budgets. We will start in sequence, which start 5 o'clock on Monday, September 18th. And then this meeting, if you would make a motion to continue the general fund budget public hearing and general fund millage rate public hearing, first public hearings until 5:30 Monday, September 18th.
So moved. Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Hurley?
Yes.
Commissioner Dennison?
Yes.
Commissioner Roebuck?
Yes.
Mayor Bone?
Yes. Okay.
2B.
So we're on to item 2B.
And item 2B, I walked this on pretty much at the last second. We did post this publicly, but this is a resolution to give the city manager the authority to waive building permit fees for residents who are fixing hurricane debris damage. It's pretty commonplace after state of emergency when we have a significant amount of damage. So we expect roof permits to come in. We expect weatherhead. I know about 50 permits right now. I spoke with our building official, Jay Cannell. We haven't had a significant number of permits, but we've had a few. Essentially, the resolution asks that we put a 90-day waiver on all permits that's associated with storm damage, and anything that was paid prior to the adoption of the resolution, we would reimburse. So if the commission would like to consider that, we can go ahead and read that and vote on it.
Okay. And that's to the ones that have paid
We'll
for damage related to the storm.
Yep.
Okay.
Only the resolution only waives fees for damage associated with the storm.
I'll introduce
And-
this in a minute.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Leesburg, Florida, authorizing a 90-day waiver of all building department permit fees associated with storm damage caused by Hurricane Irma and providing an effective date.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Dennison?
Yes.
Commissioner Roebuck?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurley?
Yes.
Mayor Bone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, city attorney items?
Nothing tonight.
City manager items?
I'll be as brief or as long-winded as you want. I thought it'd be appropriate to give you a little bit of a storm update. And I know Commissioner Dennison been out of the loop a little bit, being down without power.
Thank you, Duke
phone,
Energy.
and unfortunately, Commissioner Dennison is in the portion of our territory that's Duke. But in all seriousness, I think at this time we're really boiling down to about 2 or 3 aspects of the storm recovery. First, on the electric side, as of 4:30 today, or 4 o'clock today, with 76 hours after restoration. Restoration time was that we're calling the time that we could get everybody out to start fixing, and we're using the standard of Monday, September 11th at noon. That's pretty much when we were able to get bucket trucks up and start working. So 76 hours after that date, we are down to about 436 customers out, which is about 98.2% of our customers are back up. So everybody's been doing a great job there. I'll save all the accolades for when the storm's done, because we still have work to do. So I want to keep everybody moving forward. But to date, I am extremely happy with all the efforts that everybody's done so far. So far, Herculean effort, but hopefully we're down to the 2-minute warning, so we're not going to spoil anything, knock on wood, yet. So everything's very well so far. Then on the public works side, just let me break this down into a number of the things that the public works crew's been doing, and the debris removal issues, which is pretty much next. To date, since the storm activities, the city has cleared and we've pushed. We've got all the roads open. I think we had about 14 roads that had some major type of blockage on there. Those have been open pretty much since Monday. There might have been 1 or 2 in there that flip-flop, but for the most part, we had everything open by Monday. We're continuing a little bit. This is slowing down to play the lift station rodeo game. And just on that, we have 174 lift stations. 20 of those do have backup power generation, but when we did lose this, we had to rotate generators from generator to generator to generator. We have 3 basically. We had 3 generators that we have that are mobile. We had 2 that needed some MacGyvering to change some plugs so that we could get those working. So we started with 3. We ended up rotating 5. So there's the big number. So even though on the electric side we were coming back on, we still had these lift stations in pocket areas, and we only had 5 generators for probably about 60 or so lift stations that we were rotating with. So it was a Herculean effort to keep those. And we did have some spills. I'm not overly concerned with our spills. We've reported those to DEP. DEP's given us an initial indication that we're okay because we've self-reported. It's been part of the storm effort, so I think we're in good shape there. With that regard, we lost power at both plants. Water treatment, or the wastewater treatment plants is where we lost power. They're back up. We had 3 major water main breaks. We got out the boil notices. They were at Beverly Shores, Sheffield, and Sheffield is still an active boil order. You'll note we have tried to communicate through press releases, and everything that we have done has been posted on the city website as well as our city Facebook page. And if residents go to those 2 pages, they will get immediate updates on all the big stuff.
We also do, when we have a boil water notice, we go door to door with a door hanger on every home that's affected. So in addition to the other things, we're going door to door to let folks know.
Also, in that regard, we had on the wastewater treatment plants, I did get you all updated that we did have some emergency discharges, which again we got up with DEP. We've only had 2 residential sewer backups, which I think is probably a really good number, which we are already working on to expedite those. The grounds crews have been working to clean up the city property at the Moat Morris House, the community building, Venetian Gardens, Veterans Park, and Rogers Park, etc. We're working to expedite tree removal on Ski Beach. We've inspected all the playground equipment, and we've marked what's unsafe or not unsafe. We're responding we've had multiple roof leaks everywhere, so we're working to getting that stuff shut up. And the street crews are out as we speak, straightening signs and repairing damaged signs. So those are kind of the general public works. Obviously, with a major storm, we always have major debris removal issues. What we do with the debris issues is we pre-procure monitoring and debris collection so that we're compliant with FEMA regulations on being reimbursed for this expense. That's technically called the Category A of FEMA reimbursement. It's probably one of the more expensive items for FEMA, and obviously municipal and local governments to clean up all the debris and dispose of it and get that stuff done in an orderly time. So let me break this down a little bit into a different category. We have activated our monitoring and debris contracts. We've issued notice to proceed on that. Both contractors, initial operations will be at Venetian Gardens. The Venetian Gardens site is set up basically for the monitoring, where the trucks will come to Venetian Gardens. We have to measure, inspect, designate, give the special secret handshake code to specific trucks so that they will use the city landfill for disposal. So we've got that started.
On the disposal, do they chip it, or do they just throw it out there?
At this
or?
time, we will be taking it to the landfill and chipping it. As we move into that chipping area, it is the contractor's responsibility for ultimate removal, whether that's ended up landfilled or burned. That will be up to the contractor's option. However the contractor does it, they have to do it within FEMA regulations.
And we get reimbursed for all that cost.
75%. We need to have some clarification. We may get up to 85% for the first 30 days. But we will have at least 75% reimbursement.
They'll bring in a large tub grinder. They'll set it up at the landfill and then grind everything after. And we've got it laid out. We know where it's going, but they haven't brought it in yet. Right now, we've got plenty of room to stockpile what they're bringing in.
Our first 4 debris crews are in. We hope to get this number as high as 15 to 19 crews, but right now we only have 4 trucks that are ready to go. And on that note, the contractor has stated that they're behind because of more significant issues that have arisen from Irma, where communities are in more need. They're also got delayed deploying into Florida because of Harvey efforts. A lot of credit goes to DC because he has not accepted that excuse, and he's really fought to put Leesburg first, and I think we've gotten a lot of response out of that. Did you want to say something else on that?
Well, the other thing that happens is on a normal storm, these guys will stage in North Florida or South Georgia, and then as soon as the storm passes east to west, they're coming. This storm went north to south, so they're coming through all of the I-75 traffic. Right now, I-75 is closed because the Santa Fe is flooding, and so they're fighting their way through all the traffic and all the other stuff. And it's a little bit because this storm was more of a north-south than it was necessarily east-west. So they've had a hard time getting here. I've told them that I don't really care. And a rough day with the contractor.
And essentially to close off that report, the hardest hit areas, Palmer Park, Carver Heights, and Beverly Shores. And once we have all our resources, we will divide those crews equally and get everybody cleaned up as quick as we can. That's my report, barring any questions. Just Mayor, when we discontinue the evening for tonight, just remind the commission that we're not adjourning this meeting, but continuing it for September 18th. So,
All right.
so if that motion is made at the end, I appreciate it.
No, we talked briefly about doing something for the ones that have to have electrical work at their house that maybe can't afford to do it.
Yep. I talked with Ken Thomas about that issue. Right now, that number, I don't know what it is, but it's not very big. So I'd like another day or so, get into next week as we kind of get through and get everybody up. Like right now, we're at 436. That number spread throughout the community. I think Ken and I would say that we don't anticipate that to be a huge issue. So we're hopeful that.
Are you going to need commission action if you want to do anything?
Probably so. If this starts becoming an issue, I will get back to the commission. We'll be meeting again on Monday. I can report back to you then. But right now, we feel pretty good about the response that we're going to get from FEMA. So until this number starts settling out, we're duly noted on that, but I don't think the commission should make any action right now on that issue.
So,
We feel
but
pretty good about it.
if you hear from a senior citizen that has medical needs and we can't get the power on because I don't have $500 to do it, do you have latitude in an emergency to do something?
I'll have a little bit, I think. But I'm telling you that issue right now has not come to me.
Has not come, okay.
It was, knock on wood, surprisingly, that issue really hasn't risen to my level. So, let me give this a couple days.
Okay.
I know it could be out there. If it's out there, we'll react accordingly.
Okay.
When you go to close the meeting, if you would use the word recess.
Right, right.
Until
We're gonna
whatever
continue.
that time is.
We don't have to stay.
I got the back row. All right, we want to do roll call this evening. Anybody have anything to discuss or? No?
No, thanks.
Okay, motion to recess.
Until the 18th.
Okay, so we're recessed until the 18th at 5:30 for this meeting.
5:30 for this meeting.
For this meeting, okay. Thank you.